I swore, I cursed, which is the same as swearing. I did everything you could imagine. I did rant videos, I bitched and complained, and yet here I am today reviewing Dragon Quest on the mobile devices. The game runs on Android and iOS, and I'm actually playing this right now, what you see here, on my iPhone 5. Now, why did I say I complained? Well, I really was bitter that Square Enix just seemed to be ignoring its longtime fans and only releasing the game on mobile devices, and I really wanted it on dedicated gaming hardware. But having just played Dragon Quest and finishing it on my iPhone 5, I'm now not so sure this was actually a bad decision for Square Enix, and I'll explain why. First off, you all know the history of Dragon Quest. This is a series that really doesn't need any introduction. It ushered in console RPGs. Yes, Wizardry and Ultima may have been the forefathers of RPGs on home computers, but on consoles, it's basically Dragon Quest. And yes, the series has never been super popular outside of Japan, but hopefully with these mobile offerings, things can turn around. So the absolute best feature of Dragon Quest on mobile is the fact that this is absolutely, without a doubt, the very best version of the original Dragon Quest ever released outside Japan. Wow. Can you imagine I actually said those words? This is me, hardcore Dragon Quest fan here, and it's true. Let's look back. All we have ever had of the original Dragon Quest, which for its time was called Dragon Warrior back here, was the original NES version and the Game Boy Color port. And this one blows them completely out of the water. You can see and hear the difference right now. I don't really need to go into further detail. It looks and sounds just fantastic. Now the gameplay, while incredibly archaic by today's standards, it really does hold up perfectly fine. It's the perfect type of game to just pick up and play. The interface has been completely streamlined for your mobile device. You can pretty much slide your thumb anywhere on the screen in order to get your character to move around. Yeah, there is a visual trackpad for you to use, but you don't actually need to use it, and you just tap to attack and things like that. Now, it does take a little bit of getting used to. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, it's super intuitive. Well, it's not. I mean, it was designed for single-hand use, and that was intuitive. But with no tactile feedback, yes, it is going to take you time to get used to. But you know what? It does work a lot better than I thought it would. It took me about 10 minutes to sort of adapt to the trackpad, and then after that, I was good to go. As in the original Dragon Warrior, you play as a descendant of Erdrick who's out to stop the evil Dragon Lord. There you go. That's the story in a nutshell. It doesn't get any deeper. There's no plot twist. There's no, even like in terms of gameplay, there's no giant level trees and all this. This is as simple as you can possibly get, and it works perfect. If it ain't broken, don't fix it, right? I gotta admit that I'm kind of surprised that they actually kept a lot of the original Old English from the Dragon Warrior game. I mean, it should have given you a clue when I said Erdrick instead of Lorto, which was the original Japanese name for the main character. So I really enjoyed that. I thought that was cool. But it's only, the Old English is only when you talk to different characters. It's no longer in the command screens, which is great, because that was really annoying when every time you would hit like a slime, it would say something to the effect of, like, thou hast inflicted 2 hit points of damage to thy enemy, something like that. It was weird. Now it's just saying, the slime takes 2 hit points of damage and away you go. Now, the other thing that I really was surprised by with this game is the fact that, yes, it still has tons of random encounters, so that means there's going to be lots of grinding involved, and normally that would be a big negative to a lot of people, but it is different here because you're not sitting in front of a big screen TV, right? You're actually on the go. You're on a bus, you're on a train, you might be a passenger in someone's car or whatever. So when you whip out your phone and you want to just play for like 5-10 minutes or like really short bursts at a time, all of a sudden I found that grinding didn't really matter at all because I didn't even notice it, because while I was, say, on a bus, I would just play for a couple of minutes. Oh, I gained a level, cool, just close the phone, go back to work, do whatever I was doing. And yeah, so I literally grinded like hell towards the end of the game, but I never really even realized it because it was on a mobile device. I mean, I'm not going to sit at home playing for hours on end on my phone. Now, I suppose if I did, then yes, that would be a negative. The other thing that's really cool here is the fact that the price is right, baby. It's only $2.99, which in my opinion is an absolute steal. Yes, the game can be beaten around 6 to 7 hours or so, but still, $3, it's the perfect price for an impulse buy, and I'm really hoping that people do that. They purchase it as an impulse because, well, I want more people to get into the series. Now, about the only negative thing I can say about the game is the fact that you're forced to play in portrait mode, and that's why the video looks the way it does, because there is no landscape mode. And that's kind of unfortunate. I would have liked to have at least the option to have a landscape mode. So that's kind of it, guys. That's a look at Dragon Quest on the mobile platform. If you were skeptical like I was, well, you might want to go pay $3 because I say it again, this is the absolute best way of playing the original Dragon Quest officially in North America.